Chairman, I don't think anyone opposes the idea of keeping track of when people enter and exit the country. With that knowledge, we'd be able to determine when people had overstayed their periods of authorized admission and were present in violation of the law. We'd be able to make informed decisions about how to use our limited enforcement resources to apprehend and remove such people, and we'd also be able to make changes to improve our visa issuance practices, the visa waiver program, and a host of other things. So I hope today we'll learn precisely what DHS has done over the years to set up our current entry-exit system and what work the Department is doing to improve that system and what we can expect to see in the future. As has been mentioned, Congress first mandated the creation of the automated entry-exit system in 1996, and we've built upon that mandate several times. The ultimate goal is to establish a system that is realistic and cost-effective, that promotes national security and compliance with immigration law, that does not overly disrupt the legitimate flow of persons and goods through our ports of entry. That flow represents billions of dollars in trade and travel each day and is an essential part of our nation's economy and job market. We know this is a challenge. I remember a witness from the Heritage Foundation pointed out in a hearing in 2011 before the subcommittee, and this is a quote, "If this was a mandate that could have been easily fulfilled, it would have been fulfilled back in the 1990s when it was first implemented." Despite the challenge, I think we've made progress over the years. It's true we do not have a biometric exit system at our land, sea, and airports. I suspect, this has already been mentioned, that will be a major focus of the hearing, but I'd like to also focus on what has been done. We have improved our ability to identify visa overstays and to track people exiting the country through deployment of biometric entry systems and enhancements to our biographic exit systems. We've made improvements in data sharing capabilities and an innovative cooperative agreement with the Canadian government, our partner to the north. Let me say one thing further about the development of a biometric exit system. Many of us have long believed that the Department's goal should be to fulfill its statutory obligation to establish a biometric exit system at land, sea, and airports. That was my position after reviewing the 9/11 Commission recommendations, and I still believe that's something we should continue to explore. I've been frustrated with the lack of progress, but I'm also pleased to hear the Department continues to pursue this objective and that it is poised to test and pilot a variety of new technologies and approaches to the problem in the next couple of years. But it's one thing to complain that the Department has not made progress toward that goal, and it's another to understand exactly what it would take to get there. And that's why I think when it comes to biometric exit, the three important questions for today's hearing are, one, is it possible for us to have a biometric exit capability at every land, sea, and airport? Two, if it is possible, how much would it cost? How long would it take, and what would have to happen to make it a reality? And three, what would we get from a fully deployed biometric exit system that we would not be able to get through an enhanced biographic exit system and cooperative partnerships with neighboring countries? We need answers to these questions because we must know whether the task before the Department is achievable. If it is, we must all have a realistic understanding of what it will take to get there. This will be expensive. Several years ago, the Department concluded that implementing a biometric exit system at airports would cost $3 billion over 10 years. At land ports, the cost would be exponentially greater and require not only a large increase in personnel, but also very large investments in port infrastructure. For a Congress that's intent on cutting spending at every turn, that just narrowly avoided a default on the nation's debt, that actually shut down the government for a period of weeks because of an intent not to pay bills that had already been incurred, these costs must be front and center in our discussion. Finally, we need to understand what marginal improvements a biometric exit system would have over an enhanced biographic system paired with our Beyond the Borders agreement with Canada. I'm a fan of technological solutions. I come from Silicon Valley, but I also want to know exactly what problem we're trying to solve and how the new solution is better than what we currently have. I hope we can get answers to these questions today. I look forward to the witnesses, but before I I close, let me just say how disappointed I was to hear the news that the House is not intending to consider immigration bills before the end of the year. I think we have a historic opportunity before us to work together to improve our immigration laws. I thank the chairman of the subcommittee for his kind comments about myself and Mr. Gutierrez. I'm mindful that we did not do immigration reform in a comprehensive way. When we had the majority as Democrats, we were actually in the House deferring to the Senate, hoping that they could have bipartisan agreement, and they ultimately failed. The gentleman was not a member of that Congress, but we did pass the DREAM Act when Democrats were in the majority, and it fell short in the Senate. I just believe that we can put our hands across the aisle and work together and improve our laws. I would hope that the spirit and intent to do that has not faded on the part of the majority. Certainly, I would hope to continue to work with the majority to solve this problem for our country, and I yield back.